Because the Bible said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
People rejoice.
But when you look at Romans 13 in its context, Romans 13 says the righteous should not fear government. The evil should. But right now, because we voted in all the rotten trees, now the righteous gotta fear government and the evil don't.
Good afternoon, and welcome to People Over the Party. I am your host, Dr. David D. King, and today is Think About It Tuesday. Think About It Tuesday. Think About It Tuesday. We're going to talk about some things, and it is just to get people to think, just to get people to come to a place where we can have a conversation without want to kill one another. I love my Think About It Tuesday because it gives us an opportunity to share with one another and not belittle one for their opinion or anything of that nature. So my Think About It Tuesday today is coming up, and so I want to just welcome you to Think About It Tuesday, whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. I want to just welcome you, and we're going to get the show started on Think About It Tuesday. And the first thing that I want to address on Think About It Tuesday is the post that I made last night and why I made that post. First, let me start off by saying this. I thank God for all the comments on yesterday, and not one time did I see anybody call anybody out of their name. Did I see anybody say anything to try to assault another person? I just saw different people sharing their opinion on my post. And one young lady, she even brought up and Googled up, and she sent through Google what she thought took place, or what took place during President Obama time when he was president and he was deporting those people. Some people made comments that they was not really concerned about people being deported, but they was more concerned about the tactic and how it was done. And so my whole purpose of my post last night is to get us to start having conversations without finger pointing, without name calling, each one of us have different perspective. Each one of us have a different opinion on how it started, why it started, where it started, when it came to the protests. And I want to thank everybody that commented on that post, because the whole purpose of my post have conversations, not finger pointing, not bashing one another, but to just have a conversation. And I saw that on my post, and the Bible says, "Blessed are the peacemakers." And my goal is to bring us to. My whole goal is to bring us to a place where. Uh, okay, there I'm back. A place where we can come together and talk, and one person might see it from one perspective, another person might see it from another perspective, and just to have those conversations. I had got some phone calls from some people, and they was like, "Hey, what's going on? Let's talk about this post." And one person that I was talking to brought up a very good point about the protests, the riots, whether you agree or you disagree. But they commented and said it's amazing how right when everything was coming out about fraud, the protests started, and in the process of that, the confusion or the attention of the fraud, it kind of went away. So let me say it like this: I am not okay with anybody losing their life. I'm not. I am okay if you're going to assemble peacefully. I'm not okay on how things are being done. Um, I do not agree with everything that's going on. I don't agree if somebody lose their life. I don't agree if law enforcement is being attacked for doing their job. I don't agree with violence, period. I don't condone violence. I'm not agreeing with it on one side or the other side. But what we do need to have is some uh, intelligent conversations on the why. And I think that's where we stop communicating. And so by putting up that post on last night, we had that. I felt everybody on how they was feeling, whether they was on one side or the other side. And I respect everybody's opinion on how they feel about it, but we got to come to a place where we can talk about it. We got to come to a place where we might not agree, but we got to at least have the conversation to understand each other. And if you okay with somebody getting killed, that's between you and God. Me, I'm not okay with somebody dying. Me, at one time, I wanted to be in law enforcement. At one time, I wanted to be a state trooper. And then I thought about it. And that is a dangerous job, because you have to wonder, am I going to make it home tonight or not? Uh, and and in these days and times, you know, people trying to make it home, law enforcement's trying to make it home, everybody's trying to make it home. But I think we got to have these conversations if we ever going to start healing. So this is the reason why I made that post, to ask that simple question: Where were where were the protesters during Bush or Clinton or Obama or Biden? Where was it? And everybody shared their own opinion, and that's great because we're not robots, and we all have a different opinion on that. And and uh, the thing about it is this: until I started looking into uh, the deportation, and instead until I started to uh, look into the process of deportation, I didn't know. I was ignorant and didn't know that 1.9 million people, 1.9 million, did voluntary self deportation with a $2,600 check. They received $2,600 and they did a self deportation exit out of the country, and they did not necessarily went back to their country, but they went to another country, and they received $2,600. I didn't even know that program was out there. I did not know that CBP had a program for volunteer self deport to be self deported. I didn't know that, but I went and I started to look it up. So um, for me, I like doing homework. I like looking things up. I like trying to understand. I don't want to be on one side or the other side, because you got one side saying ICE is out of order, and you got another side saying, well, if the protesters wouldn't get in front of ICE um, to interfere with it, none of this would happen. So, and that's the same as a coin. You got heads, you got tails. So if you flip it, somebody's going to agree, somebody's going to disagree. But the point I was trying to make is to get people to have a conversation, because it all depends on what mainstream media you're looking at to get your opinion on how it is. Because number one, we're not there. We're not in Minnesota. We don't know who's causing the riot. What I do know are there are people that are paid to go and start riots. We know it for a fact, whether we want to believe it or accept it. We know it. During Black Lives Matters, we watch people bring in bricks. We watch people. Matter of fact, there was one white lady during Black Lives Matter who broke the window in the store, and then you saw the blacks run in and start to loot. But they wasn't the one to break the window. But if you're not going to do any homework and you're just going to go off of media, then we're getting tainted information. We got to go in and look at it and do the homework and get to understand what's really, really going on. So that post was to get us to talk. That post was not to just say, oh, it's their fault, oh, it's their fault. No, it's to have conversation. And I saw on my post people having those kind of conversations. And each one was sharing their own opinion. And we have that right to share our own opinion, whether people like it or not. We have that right. You should be able to share how you feel. You should be able to share your thoughts on what's taking place, because that's your right. And we need to understand that, whether we agree with it or not. I don't agree. Again, I'm going to tell you this. I don't agree with murder. I do agree with the First Amendment, assembling peacefully, sharing what we feel. I did it all 2020, all 2021, and some of 2022. I was out there. We did not, let me put it to you this way. We protested against medical freedom, okay? but we did it peacefully. We did not stand in front of the hospital and did not allow the doctors to go into the hospital to do their job. We did not stand in front of the hospital that didn't allow the nurses to go in and not do their job, or the janitor or anybody. We did not. We protested, but we protested from a good distance in front of the hospital, out by the streets, allowed them to go in and out, allowed people to go in and out, hold up our signs, share our feelings, and we shared that we did not agree with what they was doing with medical freedom. We protested against massing our children. We protested. We stood out in front of the school boards. We did not disrespect anybody. We did not stop them from going in and doing their job. We did it peacefully, like the First Amendment says, peaceful protest. You can stand and symbol and protest without being obnoxious. We did not. Even when people blowed at us or cussed at us while we was out there, we still did it respectfully. And so I've been part of protests. I've been a part of rallies. I've been a part of fighting against Common Core, fighting against CRT, SEL, fighting against medical freedom, fighting against massing our children, fighting to get pornography out of our classroom with our children, that the other group was pushing their agenda. But we did it peacefully. We did it peacefully. And you have a right, if you disagree with someone, you have a right to protest, but you have the right to do it only peacefully, not interfere, not try to stop anybody from doing their job. But we have a right to speak our minds. We have a right to stand in front of City Hall if we don't agree with the mayor or the common council and express how we feel. How we feel. We have that right. But we have that right, according to the Constitution, to do it peacefully. Now, there's a difference between a riot and protest. And we got to understand that. And so I placed that post just to hear people, and it was a place where people can vent their opinion, and they didn't get judged. They didn't treat them bad. They did not do anything negative, and I'm grateful for that. They shared, they disagreed. If they agreed, they agreed. If they didn't, they didn't. And we should be able to do that. All right. And so that's why I put that post. The next thing I want to talk about on Think About It Tuesday is coming together as Wisconsinites. Because here's the thing. Every last one, whether you're on the right, whether you're on the left, are affected by what our elected officials decide, and the decisions they make affect all of us. It affects all of us. When Governor Evers put that property tax for the next 400 years, it didn't just affect those that are conservatives or those that are Republicans. It affected those of us that are liberals, those of us that are Democrats. It affected all of us. And that's the thing that we got to come together and think about for a minute. We got to say, hey, listen, while we don't agree on everything, but what we need to agree on is that the things that they're doing that is affecting us directly. Groceries affect us. Property taxes affect us. Decision making to create a new law affects us. Allowing government to have more power than they should affects all of us. Every last one of us. And so we have to come to the place because it affects us. Now, if you doesn't live in Wisconsin, it don't affect you. But if you live in Wisconsin, it affects you. And it takes all of us to come together to make Wisconsin better for all of us. Not one side, but all of us, to make it better for all of us. So I just want us to think about that for a minute. Coming together, because everything affects all of us. It doesn't just affect the rich, it affects the poor. You raise property taxes doesn't just affect the rich and property owners, it also affects the renters. Because the renters' rent will always go up every year when those property taxes go up, to the fact that they won't even be able to afford to rent a place to live. That affects every last one of us. And this is why we have to understand and realize and slow down and say, you know what? I can afford my rent going up every year because my wages doesn't go up every year. I can't afford my property taxes to go up every year because my income doesn't go up every year. So we got to come together and make it better for everybody. And that's what we got to think about. This is going to affect me just as much as it's going to affect you. And I need to do something about it. Would you join me? Those are the kind of conversations that we should be having. All right? So next I want to say, stop and breathe for a moment. Do you see the finger pointing has already started in this election? The left is pointing the finger at the right is pointing the finger at the left. So it's about to get ugly, nasty, and we has to just breathe for a minute and stop and see why they're doing. Give me a second, I'm doing a podcast. And why they're doing what they're doing. And I'm not in the podcast room, as you can tell, I'm in my office. So people are thinking that I'm available right now. I forgot to tell them that I'm on the podcast. So let's keep going. So let's breathe for a minute. Why the finger pointing? Why not sit them down and question their decision making thus far? Why would we allow people to go to the next level in politics when they screwed up on the level that they're on? Why would I allow a person to be the governor when you raise property tax and sales tax and you didn't do a great job in the position that you in? But I'm gonna give you that because you're pointing fingers at the other side, and the other side is pointing fingers back, but we have a third choice. We don't just have two choices. And mainstream media is doing everything in their power not to let you know you have a third choice. Mainstream media is doing everything in their power to not allow you to know that there's a third choice. Now, when I ran for mayor, mainstream media deliberately kept the mayor's race out of the media until it was close to the election. Mainstream media, normally one of the stations, the press would always have a mayor's forum. They never had a mayor's forum. They never set up a debate between the mayor and myself. They never really came and talked to me. They never really put it out on the news until it was close to the day of voting. Why is that? Because mainstream media is working along with both sides to keep anybody that's trying to run as an independent out of the media. So you would not know that you have a third choice, because they don't want to see you come together. They don't want to hear a message about unifying. They don't want to hear a message about solving the problems. They don't want to hear a message about left and right coming together, sitting down to figure out what's best for our children and our grandchildren. They don't want that kind of message. They want the message, oh, so and so don't like this side and this side don't like this side, because there's no money in unity for them. There's no, because they don't allow you to they don't accept oneness. They do not allow you to what's the word I want to use? They don't like good stories. Good stories doesn't sell. Like bad, like hatred, like division. Unity doesn't sell to them. Oneness doesn't sell to them. But if I was on either side and I was talking about the other side, then they had a camera and the mic in my face. But they don't want that. I'm coming to Wisconsin and say, hey, listen, you know, the Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. I'm trying to be the peacemaker. I'm trying to be the one that come with the solutions on, yeah, we can fix this and we can fix that. But they don't want to hear that. They want the negativity. So what do? They keep us out of mainstream media. Not one time have they come and talk and ask questions and interview to find out what kind of background, where did I come from? Why am I running for governor? They have not. And they're keeping us out of mainstream media because they don't want the people to know that you have another choice. All right? So stop and breathe for a minute, right? Look at the finger pointing, look at the blaming, look at and understand exactly what it is that they're trying to do. All right? The last part of my Think About It Tuesday is this. Change never comes by comfort, but only by courage. We got to look at this thing and say, you know what? We've been doing the same thing for so long and thinking things are going to get better, but it's not. It is not going to get better. Einstein says, when you keep doing the same thing, expecting a different result, that's insanity. And so we are insane thinking that we're going to get something different because we keep voting one way or the other. No, it is time to do something different. It is time to be bold enough to say, you know what? I want to try a new direction. All right? You know, when we keep voting the same way and we don't want to try nothing new, then guess what? You don't get anything new. Most of us that's on the left or on the right, if your favorite football team is not winning, you start to say, fire the coach. If nothing changed, you say, fire the coach. If it's mediocre, you say, fire the coach. We need a fresh start. So why do we do that for sports, but we do not do that for government? Why do we allow the same people to just stay there, stale, no new ideas, never trying nothing new, never trying to go against the system, never trying to change the direction that we're going in, never try to solve any real problems and coming with solutions? And you probably say, well, what about you? I carry solutions the world is waiting for. I have solutions. I know what I'm willing to do to make Wisconsin better for everybody. I'm just asking you to give me a chance. You gave both parties a chance. You still didn't receive what you wanted. You gave both parties an opportunity to make your life better. How is that working for you? You gave both parties a chance to make education better. How is that working for you? You gave both parties a chance to deal with taxes. How's that working for you? What do you have to lose when having someone in the middle that desires to bring everybody together to solve the problem? What do you have to lose? So if you are one that are sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you are one that is willing to go to the next level, And what I mean by the next level of life, where doors of opportunity, I'm not talking about giving out handouts, but I'm talking about giving out hand ups, giving you an opportunity to climb, giving you an opportunity to be self-sufficient, and that you will be able to make the decision for you and your family, restoring parental rights to family members, allowing our children to be protected, understanding our medical freedom, and allowing people to have the right to choose without government force. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a state where the people come first, not special interest group. I will not let China buy up our farmland. I will not allow our farmland to be used just for solar panels. I will not allow people to be bullied anymore by special interest group or either political party. I'm talking about freedom. I'm talking about the opportunity to grow. If you're a business owner, you should be able to grow your business. Government does not supposed to create jobs. Businesses are supposed to create jobs. And as your governor, I would move government out of the way so your business can grow and your business can thrive. See, I think we get it twisted sometimes, and you hear politicians and you hear those that are running for office says we're going to create jobs. The government has no business creating jobs, because if the government is creating jobs, that means you're putting more and more people on the government plantation. But as government, I want to move government out the way, that the people, business owners, can create jobs and that things thrive for everybody. But we gotta want to do something different. We gotta become courageous to make some bold moves to make things happen for us. Bold. It cannot stay the same. We cannot stay the same. Matter of fact, we cannot survive on either party next 4 years. And that's something that we got to ask ourselves. Can we survive on either party next 4-year agenda? Or can we put somebody that's in the middle in the leadership to work with both sides to make it better for all of us? I don't owe special interest groups. I'm not loyal to any party. I'm definitely loyal to the people. What do you want? This is Dr. David D. King with Think About It Tuesday. And that question you can answer for me by letting me know. What is it that you want? Do you want the same, or do you want something different? Dr. King, God bless.
Because the Bible said, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
People rejoice.